What's up, everybody? I'm sorry for the clickbait title, but today I'm going over the number one most important aspect to selling comics. This is pre-orders for traditionally published comic creators, and it's getting your backers on the first day for self-published authors who crowdfund. Now, for those of you who do not know who I am, I'm Lord Max Hoven. I'm a best-selling, traditionally published comic book writer. I'm known for Liquid Kill and It Eats What Feeds It. I'm here to give you insights on how to make money with your creative endeavors. So I'm just going to jump right in, and I'm going to start with pre-orders. So what are pre-orders? Well, in the direct market, the direct market is when you sell your book through comic shops, and your book is distributed through comic shops in North America, and they're solicited and basically advertised in preview catalogs that all of the retailers or the comic book shops get. So how this works is roughly 3 months before your comic book actually goes to print and goes into shops, the cover and log line of your comic book is advertised and announced in a physical catalog, which is also digital online. Now, this catalog is what allows the comic book shops to order your book, and it's also available to the general public and your readers. Okay, so the key thing here is the amount of pre-orders you get during the month and the month after your book enters the catalog, which means it's usually 3 months before your book releases, but only 2 months is it solicited. There's a month gap before your actually book goes to shops before people can't order it, as it actually starts getting printed and shipped out to the stores. So there's only a 2-month window usually when the book goes live in the catalog, and they call this the pre-order phase of when comic book shops and retailers can or pre-order your book. Okay. And the amount of pre-orders you get determines the size of your first print run. And the size of your first print run is essentially the most important aspect in whether or not you're going to profit from your series or not. The reason for this is because the first issue is always the biggest. It has the biggest print run. This is because of the collector's market in comics. Collectors find more value in the first issue than anything else. Okay, it's just the law of numbers and how everybody starts at issue 1, and if we like it, we continue. If we don't, we stop. Not everybody likes everything, so there's going to be a drop, and in comics that drop is huge. The demand from the issue 1 down to issue 2, 3, and 4, it's 50% almost. It's 50% from 1 to 2, and then it's usually another 30 to 50% from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and so on. So they cascadingly get smaller unless it gets momentum going up. And that's a rare case, but so let's just say if you want to maintain a readership of like 2,000 to 3,000 readers per month of your comic series, that means your launch needs to be at 10,000 or above. Now, to get a launch of 10,000 or more, you need to get a pre-order amount that's roughly 1/3 that size. This is because every pre-order results in about 3 times as many orders from the comic shops. The comic shops think, well, if one guy wants the book, I can probably sell it to 2 or 3 more people as well. So you need at least 2,000 to 3,000 pre-orders in order to get a print run of 10,000 or more. This is why bestsellers in comics usually only come from creators that already have built-in established audiences. And the thing is, if you do get the demand, like after your book launches, let's say the pre-order phase is done, your book comes out, but then you get word-of-mouth demand, the comic shops will attempt to order your book from the publishers again for a second print run. The downside to this is these late demands act as pre-orders for a second print run. Thus, you have to get demand big enough to justify a second print run. So you may get people that want to order the book, but they can't if it's not enough to justify a print run of over like 1,200 or more, which is usually what you need to print and sell in order to make sure that print run is profitable. That means you need to get pre-orders or people that go to the comic shops and demand that or explain that they want that issue again or that series. You need at least like 300 or 400 of those people in order to justify a second print run. And then the thing is if you could have added that demand to your initial print run, your first print run size would have been twice the amount, and thus the cost of every issue printed would have been lower, which means you would have profited more per each issue that you sell. So it's highly important. Like I say, probably the most important thing to try and push as much demand as you can during the pre-order phase in order to get your print run of your first issue, the first print run of your first issue, as big as possible. All right, so that's pre-orders. I'm now going to move on to first day backers. So what is a first day backer? This is whenever you do a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter or Indiegogo or whatever platform you use. You have to have the momentum strike immediately. The Kickstarter algorithm and like the general buyer psychology is based on a cascading effect, like a momentum that gets bigger and bigger, a snowball effect, okay? Just like with the direct market, a strong launch determines the remainder of the campaign. It determines the amount and the demand for the rest of the campaign. If you can get 100% funded, or at least 30 to 50% funded on your first day, statistically, there's a high probability that not only will you reach your target goal, but you'll reach your target goal quickly and faster, and thus the momentum will continue to build with the illusion of excess demand, which results usually in bonus content for all the early backers, okay? So if you go through the process the right way, or, sort of the promotional way, everyone likes to be a part of a rising trend. It's the psychology of being a fan or just generally like investing. We want to have a relationship with the creator before they become a big deal. We want to be the person that introduces new music to our friends. We want to target and spot and follow writers before their books get turned into movies or TV shows. And we want to be backers of a popular Kickstarter campaign before everyone else jumps on board. So from the reader's perspective, being an early backer allows us to get more content for less money. It allows us to get exclusive content also, okay? So it's important that basically, for us, the creator's perspective, all of this needs to be planned. We need to line up our first day with backers even before we launch. We need to involve all our biggest fans, our family, and our friends to literally be a part of the campaign on launch day. There's no, I wonder if they'll, back it or not. There shouldn't be any hope. You should get an expectation, and you're just telling them, hey, I'm live, go back it. They should all be involved in this so that the people that are going to back it immediately, and it's not down the line, so that momentum can get started right away. You want to be able to get 30 to 50% funded just from the people that your friends and family, okay? That way, every time you break a barrier, you have a new excuse to hype and brag about the campaign, telling everyone to jump on ship before it gets too far from shore, offering them early backer rewards and bonuses. Okay, so when people are backing it, that's demand that you create, and that allows the next person to see that demand, and they think it's organic, and they want to jump on it before that organic spreads like wildfire to like hyper popularity, okay? Key point. Without this technique, you're literally relying on the ability to gather fresh eyes who just happen to enjoy your campaign's images and like your log line. And that's not enough to move the needle. You may reach your goal, but without the boost of Kickstarter's algorithm that sees that early demand and then they put it higher on their page to where they think that demand, and they'll put it out to more of the broad audience. It's like that subtle psychological effect of seeing the campaign in high demand that keeps everything rolling. And without that momentum, it can really, your campaign might reach one goal, but it'll never cascade out to where you just keep getting more and more. So to summarize, if you want to know more details on how to get backers and pre-orders, just subscribe to this channel and make comments, ask questions below in the comments. I usually answer them directly, and if it's a really long question or if I get repeat questions, I will make a whole new video on the contents of what those questions are in high detail. Now, most importantly, the most important part of this video is pre-order my effing books. Liquid Kill Volume 1 is still in its pre-order phase for a few more days. I think September 16th is final order cutoff. Final order cutoff is the last day that retailers, the comic book shops, can order my book before it goes to print. All right, all the links for that are in the description. They're also at hovencrow.com, my main websites. That book is available at Barnes & Noble. Pre-order it through Barnes & Noble. Every pre-order there acts as in, 3 to even 10 times more on the shelves. The distributor sees pre-orders and they think, I can probably sell it to 10 more. So every pre-order through Barnes & Noble is putting more books on the shelves. You can help me out a lot by pre-ordering it there. You can also do the same thing at Books A Million. You can also do the one click on Amazon. All right. I also, through comic shops, not through the bookstores, you can order the first and second issues of Liquid Kill Volume 2. They're still in their pre-order phase right now. Right now. All right. The diamond codes are in the description. You can just call your local comic shop and let them know those numbers and tell them you want Liquid Kill. Put it on your pull list. Do it now. Seriously, guys. Without pre-orders, comic creators often fail before we even hit the shelves. So help us out here. Pre-order books. That's all I have to say about this. All right. Thanks, everybody.